We are reviewing problems for the exam, correct?
Yeah.
And inverse of a function, page 205, number 45. Number 45 is f of x equals x over x plus 4. I love this problem because the f of x is really what? X or y?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Y.
So to find an inverse, what's the process?
You switch the x's and y's.
Switch, why'd I put a plus for equals? Switch the x's and the y's, and then solve for this new y. The issue, your problem, I know, is algebraically, you're struggling on, there's a y on the bottom and a y on the top. So how do we get rid of the y in the bottom? Y plus 4, correct?
Well, I did that, but I don't know
Now-
I went wrong after that.
Now what you really need to do is use the distributive property.
So it's x, y plus.
So what did I do wrong?
Okay.
That's what you.
Then we got to get all the y's on one side, correct? So subtract. So in one respect, we get the y's to the, we take the y that's on the bottom to the other side, and then we have to take the one expression that has the y in it back to the right side. And at that point,
Divide by.
factor out the y. Now we're ready. What's the last step?
4 divided by.
The y is the only,
minus x. Yes.
so f inverse of x equals 4x over 1 minus x. So that's a little tricky. So the first step was to get rid of the y plus 4 on the bottom, right? Then distribute. Do the opposite, adding or subtracting to get it to the other side, right?
I just forget what's legal and what's illegal. I'm trying to do.
You try, and I would write, yeah, illegal math. That's why you see it on your paper, illegal.
How did you get from y minus xy to that? Did you factor
I
out
factored
a
out the y.
and then the one?
Yeah. So if we were giving reasons, this would be the multiplicative. It's just plain multiplication. You can multiply both sides of an equation by the same thing, right? As long as y is not equal to what? Y plus 4 is not equal to 0, making y not equal to negative 4, right? As long as y is not negative 4, this is a legal move, right? Then that's just addition property of equality. This one is what do we use to take that y out? It's actually like the opposite, reverse distribution. We've called it there. That's not an official term, but it is the distributive property. And then just division of equality, right? That would be the reason behind the legal math reasons. So what was an illegal maneuver you used?
I don't think I did.
You
anything
divided by
illegal. I
just plain, oh,
I
y,
divided, like, after we
Right here.
I distributed, I divided by y.
but then you would have had to divide this one by y to make it legal. Mm. Got you. All right.
Can I use that?
Max's amends, page 230. So I'll do one of those and let you all do the other one. Number 35. Unless 63 is the calculator one or something.
It's a word problem. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
a word problem. Are there going to be a lot of word problems on this exam?
No.
Okay. Any work problems.
Alright, 35 is find the maximum or minimum value. 100 minus 49. Oh, they called them T's. Is it okay if I wrote X just to call them X?
Yes.
Oh, is that a 7?
Yeah, it
I
is.
read it like this.
Yeah.
Could you rearrange?
You can rearrange, and the process is completing the square, right? So as I'm rearranging, I'm just gonna factor out that -7, because I want my x squared to not have a coefficient. What would it be? Positive x squared
Square minus
So-
plus 7x.
plus 7x. Leave a space and leave that 100 alone,
Oh, I
thankfully.
remember doing this.
Thankfully, we don't have to divide 100 by 7, right? But this one's a little bit tricky because what are we gonna do? What's the process for completing the square? Anybody?
Because you minus something, you plus something, you get rid of something. and
Divide something by 2, the
Oh, yeah,
b,
yeah,
divide the b by
yeah.
2,
And then square times it by 7.
so that's 49 over 4. But we're not really adding 49 over 4. We're really subtracting 7 times 49 over 4. 49
And then that's
times
what
7.
you.
28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 34. So we're really subtracting what? 343 over 4. Since we're really subtracting it, what do we need to do? Add 343 over 4. It is the additive identity, right? If we add something and subtract something, it has not changed, that same something, right? It hasn't changed it. So who can get this as the perfect square?
You can.
What do you mean get it as a purpose?
Rewrite this as the perfect square. The reason we completed the square is we want to have it as x, in this case, plus what?
343 over 4? Or 100? I totally remember doing this fine.
It's actually always going to be this thing.
Then why do you need to do all that other stuff? To find out what you have to cancel?
To find out what the answer is over here, right? How many 4s is 100? 400 over 4, 743 over 4.
What? Where did you get this 7 come from?
100 whole plus 343 over 4. 100 is 400 over 4, isn't it? Multiply by 4 over 4. 400 over 4 plus 343 over 4, 740. So guys, this is a parabola that is opening how?
How is it 400 over 4? Because 400 divided by 4 equals 100. Oh my god. Why'd you write an up arrow and then you said down? To point at the negative
I'm
sign.
pointing at the negative sign. The parabola. Parabola opening down. So are we going to have a maximum or a minimum point?
A maximum.
A maximum.
If it's opening down, we're going to have a maximum, and the directions just say, find the maximum value. What is the maximum value?
Negative 7. 7
It
halves.
occurs at -7 halves. But what's the maximum value?
743 over 4.
It occurs at x equals -7 halves, right? But the maximum value is the y value. Guys, can I tell you if, well, 63 is just a word problem that is exactly like this. Because it says a ball is thrown directly upward with a velocity of 40 feet per second. And the height is given by y equals 40t minus 16t squared. Find the maximum height reached by the ball. So it is an exact replica of the problem we just did. It's gonna have some fractions in it. If I picked these two ones that have fractions in it, what is the possibility of you having a fraction on the final? Pretty high.
You could just not do it.
Can I use the bathroom?
So the question was, do we need to factor out something? Yes, you have to factor out whatever it is, even if it leaves a fraction, right?
So 5/4 is what goes in the blank on the inside.
5 halves divided by 2 is
And then
Multiply by
5/4 squared is what?
25 over 16. Oh, look how nice that was, though.
Wait, I thought that went on the outside.
You gotta multiply that by negative.
Half of,
Multiply by negative.
how we do half of 5 halves is multiply by 1/2. And the 2 times 2 would be 4, right? So the issue is this spot right there is for the completed square. It is for the half of the b term squared. But we're not really adding 25 over 16, we're really subtracting what?
Negative 16 times that.
Yeah.
25 over 16.
Negative 25.
We're really subtracting 25, right? So what do we need to do out here?
Because the 16 plus 25.
Yeah, because this is like 16 over 1, right? So what's our beautiful form going to be?
I think it's at 6, right?
16 times x.
T
Oh, sorry.
minus
T minus
5/4 squared. What goes on the outside?
4 squared plus 5.
It is a parabola opening down. We have a maximum height of,
Negative 5/4.
no,
Oh, 25.
it
It
is
goes
all
at, it's
the-
at negative 5/4.
at t equals positive 5/4. Because remember, it's the opposite within the parentheses.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm really encouraging you to, if you didn't get 35 or 63, go back and look at 37 or 39, something like that, because, and you've got the answers in the back of the book. You can always look those up. Are there any on here that I assigned evens that won't have the answers?
40,
40 on, where are we? Down here?
28, 24,
64,
64 and 66.
24.
28,
Ooh,
26.
26 and 28.
No way around it.
Now these, I didn't give you specific ones. Can somebody help me make up a problem? Solving a right triangle that uses a regular trig function and or Pythagorean theorem. I want somebody in this room. I've got a right triangle. I'm going to get you all. What does it mean to solve a right triangle?
Find all its
Find all of its, yeah.
Find all the missing parts. So
It'd probably be ABC.
There's a thing, you take the thing and you go across and do the thing, but I don't know what the thing that you do is.
I might need to give you one angle. I know it looks like a 30, 60, 90.
Just make it like 28.9.
Or 29 and,
All right,
don't do points, that's me.
so
280. So 80 plus 280, and then that minus 1, and 180 minus
triangle
that.
equaled
180.
it does.
Then why does that say wait, that says 2.
That's 28 degrees.
Oh.
Did anybody else think that looked like 280?
Oh, that's why I was
Okay.
confused.
A little, but like, no.
Only Ella.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ella.
I'm showing my subtraction.
62. Oh.
So if I call that angles A, B, and C, we would say angle B, or the measure of angle B equals 62 degrees. So far, so good, right? How do we find X and Y?
You do the across, right?
And what's the cross or opposite?
Opposite
Side.
over adjacent. So that'd be
Side.
Oh my gosh, so that's
Opposite
9.
over hypotenuse. Calculator ready, right?
Wait, hold on.
X equals exactly
It's hitting
9.
me like a truck and I don't like it.
Are you gonna like maybe like be give
Nice.
us a, what if we failed the exam and we just failed the class?
Isn't the exam a quiz grade?
It's just a quiz
I
grade.
can get at least a 79.
Y is the adjacent. Now,
Adjacent.
obviously, we could use the Pythagorean theorem, but I would want you to keep all of these long decimals. I would want you to not round.
How long is the quiz time? Or how long is the
It's
exam?
25 questions at the most. It's 25
No,
questions.
like how much time do we have to do it?
From 10:40 to 12:25.
So we have to be here at 10.
So almost 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
You have to be here during this exam block, yes. How do you, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid.
What the heck is that? Just Sokotoa.
If I could spell, I could do Sokotoa, but
Opposite or adjacent, because it's the opposite
I've never
of
heard
the
of Old Hawk Sokotoa.
I've never heard of Sokotoa.
literally you
Never heard of
pretend
it
you're
at some
in
point.
that angle. Look straight out. That is the opposite. The one that's the longest or opposite the 90 degrees is always the hypotenuse. It will never be adjacent. So the one that's right next to it is the adjacent.
But is it different for each angle of the triangle?
So the cosine of 28, it does make a difference, is the adjacent over hypotenuse, right? I will show you. I could have said, well, using the 62 degree angle, the sine of 62 would be y over 9, correct? So both of those are legal. I caution you only because if I had made a subtraction error, which hopefully this would be a calculator problem anyway, but if I'd made a subtraction error, this one answer would be wrong. See, 9, oops, I gotta have degree mode.
Oh my
9
I'm getting flashbacks.
cosine of 28 is the same as 9 sine 62. Exactly the same. So 7.947. Nine sine of 28 is 4.225.
Are you going to do like a more extensive review next class?
Whatever I want you all to do as much of a review as possible. I'm tempted to not show you these circled answers yet because y'all haven't even tried them, right? So,
I know a way around it.
I mean,
There's on PhotoMath, it doesn't show you the steps because you have to pay the plus for it.
Oh,
but
but
it'll
you
still
can-
give you the answers.
oh, PhotoMath would give you the answers, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for processes because these are not
Yeah.
the exact problems on the quiz.
I would still have to figure out how to do the problem.